Ladies and gentlemen, this is Jermaine Event, and you are listening to the Babylon 5 podcast. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Chant down Babylon kingdom, team make we chant down Vatican now. Bang bling bling, chant down Babylon kingdom, team make we chant down Vatican now. Chant down Babylon kingdom, team make we chant down Vatican now. Bang bling bling, chant down Babylon kingdom, team make we chant down Vatican now.
What up, y'all? It's Babylon 5 podcast. It's your boy, Jermaine Event. That was real hype right there. How are you guys doing? I hope your week has been fantastic. And if it hasn't, I hope this right now is the start of an even better 7-day span. You know, it's the start of an even better 7 days for you, for everyone around you, you know. That's what I'm hoping for. Just good vibes. Excuse me. Good vibes everywhere, you know. I've got the good vibes here, ladies and gentlemen. As you can tell, I've got the good vibes here. This is episode 113. As I said last week was episode 112, probably one of my favorite R&B groups. This is episode 113. Calling this bad boy Synesthesia, actually. If I can pronounce this correctly. It's actually what we're going to call this episode. Because, you know, the wife, my lovely wife and I, we went to see Andrew McMahon. My wife, it's her favorite artist, like Andrew McMahon. He's been in like a few bands, bunch of different bands. He's like a River Wester, you know what I'm saying? That whole crew, I would say like that whole set, from the openers, like it started with the guy Zach Clark, who said he played in a band with Andrew McMahon, and then the girl who went on right before Andrew McMahon, this girl, Annika Bennett. Like, everybody's, it seemed like I would have seen in River West. You know what I'm saying? This was a River West thing. And then Andrew McMahon is fucking Miles Cone. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? That's the Milwaukee scene that I see there. That's the River West scene that I see there when I'm at fucking Andrew McMahon. But it was a dope show. You know what I'm saying? I copped my wife these tickets just whenever they came out. I forget what it was, months ago. Right when they came out, I was like, we're getting them. And me being an elder statesman, if you will, and just because like it was at the Rave, and me being height challenged, if you will, for a venue like that, my height is not optimal for concerts at the Rave. If you're my height or shorter, you're going to want to do what I did, and that's buy that VIP ticket. That way you can be elevated and you'll have a seat. You know what I'm saying? Otherwise, you're going to need to get there. Like, you're going to need to be the first person there or one of the first 20 people there. And just stand there in that front row for the entire time and try to push your way through everybody like a jackass. You could try to do that, but I would advise just buy the fucking VIP ticket. Like, you know what I'm saying? What are you going to buy, a fucking $12 beer? Jesus Christ. Jesus. They're whacking in there. They're whacking in there. That's what I'm saying. So, like, you're going to buy, like, a $12 beer. So what are you really saving by buying that cheaper ticket? I think it's like a $12 difference from being on the floor to being in the VIP section. It's a $12 difference. I think I'll take that seat and be right here with the fucking motherfuckers. That sounds like a better deal to me. Because we're both going to the same bar. Or no, we're not going to the same bar. But we're buying the same alcohol, nigga. We're paying the same prices, niggas. That's how I just... Because, like, I went and saw Kendrick, and it was like I needed to stand really far back because it was just too many tall motherfuckers in the crowd at that point. I had to stand far back. And I remember I went and saw Kid Cudi. Motherfuckers bought me tickets to Kid Cudi, and I'm like, okay, but it was regular ass tickets. Height challenged, as you will, and niggas couldn't see shit. You know what I'm saying? Couldn't see shit. So that was whack. So it was like, for me, never again to the fucking rave without no fucking seats. That's why, like, I didn't even realize it, but, like, now that I'm looking back, because I was going to say the Majestic, and I fucking forgot that every time, like, back in the day, we always, like, I don't even know if it's VIP seating. I think you just buy the tickets, and you get to go up to the seating. If it was VIP seating, I didn't realize that we were being that bougie. Or maybe it wasn't that. Maybe it was pretty cheap to be that bougie, and some people just preferred to be on the floor. I think some people prefer to be on the floor and dancing, while most of the people was upstairs doing drugs. I was just upstairs chilling, already on my drugs. I'm not coming in here to do drugs with strangers, you know. That's how AIDS spreads. I don't know. I don't do hard drugs, but I'm just saying that's how diseases spread, is when you do drugs together. Is that how diseases spread? I don't know. I don't hang out with people. They told me to quarantine. So, because they say the virus is in the air. I'm babbling. Anywho, I think I got it. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen. There was a fucking little fly. And came right between me and this microphone. But I got it. I fucking got it. And I'm hype about that. But as I was saying, went to the rave, ran out to the bro, Josh Fricano, and his girl Shannon. Shout out to y'all. I think that was the first time I ever met Shannon. I think I seen she was working at the bar when I stopped in the bar, but I was only briefly stopping in the bar just to say what up to niggas. And, yeah. And I think it was, like, a weird time where, like, it was, like, wear a mask. If you're not vaccinated, wear a mask. If you don't have to, if you are type. And it was, like, I ain't had, like, proof of nothing type situation. So I didn't know how niggas felt. I wasn't trying to draw no attention to myself from the bartender. You know what I'm saying? No matter who it is, you know what I'm saying? I wasn't trying to draw no attention from the bartender because I didn't know how niggas felt, you know what I'm saying, at the time. I didn't know how niggas felt walking into that situation. But shout out to them. Ran into Frick. I don't really be seeing niggas like that. As I said, I've been in quarantine since quarantine was cool to do, my nigga. Niggas ain't seen Germ in quite some time. Niggas ain't seen Germ in like 4 years. Niggas ain't seen me in like 4 years. I'm just not out here like that. You know what I'm saying? I used to see Germ out here in these streets. Germ used to be out in these streets. Now you don't see Germ out in these streets unless you had the right kind of functions. Unfortunately, lately, it seems like those have been the most unfortunate circumstances have seemed to be the functions people see me at most, but 'tis what it is. I'm babbling, but as I'm saying, I ran into folks there that I didn't expect. You know, I've never, going into this Andrew McMahon concert, I've never, other than listening to what my wife listens to, and she made a playlist because we were going to this, so I was listening to some songs, and I liked what I liked from there, you know, just from the few listens that I got through it. It's not like I was able to pick up on everything. And every song he played at the concert was dope, you know what I'm saying? That's why this episode's called Synesthesia, because I felt like, to me, that was like one of the stronger performances. He had one, my wife told me the name, I forgot the name of it, but he had this violin player with her, and she was just killing that shit. The live performances were just, it was dope. This concert with Andrew McMahon was dope, and he was, it was called the Three Pianos Tour, and he was explaining, like, he had the three mirrors up there, and he was explaining how, he's been traveling with that piano and just, like, different stages of his life and the inspiration behind each song that he was playing there. And, And it's going to be, like, more in detail in the book that he's coming out with, the Three Pianos book. It's pretty dope, man. It was a pretty dope concert. It was pretty intimate. Like, the crowd wasn't super crazy. Black Label Society was, like, playing under us, and they were fucking shaking the building. They were shaking the building. It's funny because as we're coming up, my wife was like, there's two lines, because there's Andrew McMahon and Black Label Society. My wife is like, oh, which line is it? And I'm like, I look and I see, like, the longer line is like everybody dressed in black, and the shorter line has pretty much niggas dressed like how I usually dress, with, like, plaid shirts and fucking, or preppy type attire. You know what I'm saying? Like, bro-y type attire. And, like, River West type attire. You know, niggas you see in River West. And I'm like, I'm pretty sure it's that line right there. And sure enough, we were in the right line. You know, we didn't even have to ask no questions, but we were definitely in the right line. And it was just a dope concert. Zach Clark was dope. Annika Bennett was dope. Like, I never heard any of these. I never, like, other than what I've listened to that my wife's played, I've never seen these people live. Andrew McMahon, super fucking dope performer live. It was just pretty dope to see, man. I like showmen. You know, I like people who put effort into their performance, and there's definitely effort in these performances. So it's a pretty dope concert, man. Shout out to all the performers. They also played in between, like, Zach Clark and right before Annika Bennett went on. They played Arlo Parks. This artist, Arlo Parks. I had never heard of Arlo Parks before this show, and it was a song called Eugene that they played that's fucking amazing. I was just like, who is this? Luckily, my Shazam worked. Like, last second, my Shazam worked. And I was like, all right, let me save that. Arlo Parks. Then we were just, like, riding around. I put some Arlo Parks on, like, earlier today. Just put all the songs on. She's fucking amazing. And then it's just like, I couldn't even really tell. I'm looking at this information. Couldn't really tell if she was in Milwaukee or Chicago, like, on the 2nd of October. But it's like, anyway, it seems like we just missed her over here. I immediately hit up the homie Sean Smart, like, yo, if you don't know, like, do you know Arlo Parks? He's just like, nah, who's that? I'm just like, yo, this vibey-ass artist who's going to be in Austin tomorrow. Like, if I was there and I had the opportunity, I would probably go see Arlo Parks. Arlo Parks, 21 years old, sounds like a fucking seasoned veteran. Sounds amazing. Well-polished. Well-oiled machine out there. So, check out Arlo Parks if you into some vibey, soulful ass music. 21 years old. That's not an industry plant. There's no way she's... I don't mean to throw it out there like that, but Jesus Christ, that's what I'm saying. 21 years old. God damn. That sounds like some Billie Eilish shit. She sounds so goddamn refined. I don't know. Let's just assume she's legit. And let's just assume you guys can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Babylon5Pod. You can follow me you can follow me on my personal accounts at My Name's Jermaine. You can email this podcast at Babylon5podcast@gmail.com. You can listen to this podcast, or let me just back up for a second. You can follow this podcast at babylon5.podbean.com. You can listen to this podcast on Podbean, Stitcher, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, YouTube, pretty much anywhere podcasts stream. And if you guys are on Xbox, go ahead and add me at SauceBoss414. If you guys are on Twitch, go ahead and follow me at twitch.tv/Babylon5. If you guys want to go ahead and cop some merchandise, as I've said before, unfortunately, these beautiful Boars hoodies are no longer available. But we do have, the classic Babylon 5 pod gear. If you guys want to go to teespring.com/storage/BOFpod-shop. And lastly, ladies and gentlemen, if you want to be my patron, go to patreon.com/Babylon5pod for just $1. You can be my patron. Be my patron. And I want to say that I just lied to you, ladies and gentlemen. Gonna say I lied to you because you guys should join my Discord. I never put that in the notes. Every week I'm like, fuck, I keep forgetting to mention the Discord. I don't know the week streak and how long I haven't mentioned the Discord, but join the Discord at Babylon 5 Pod. Join my Discord. I'll be on there. I gotta post a project on there. If you guys haven't checked out Still Bitter yet, go do it right now. I gotta check out I gotta post a project on there. I don't know where. I be seeing niggas post, right? I'll see niggas post their projects in the forums on Discord, and then I'll post a link or something. I'll be like, yo, this is my shit. Here it is. Check it out. Peep and thank you. And then it'll just be a fucking weak-ass link with not cool-ass shit like their posts. Their posts will be like, fucking moving, saying hello to you as you come by. And then me is just a link that's not even clickable. Not even a clickable link. They got clickable links. I don't understand what I'm doing wrong here. I don't know how to use Discord. Maybe that's why I don't talk about it. Maybe subconsciously it's like, nigga, don't tell these niggas to join Discord. They're going to have you on some other shit. Because you already don't know how to run it. You already know you don't know what you're doing. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm trying to figure it out. I'm not trying too hard to figure it out. I'd like to figure it out. I feel like all it takes is like one YouTube video and I'd be killing it. Just one 5-minute YouTube video, I'd be like, oh, that's what I'm not doing. And then my shit be on there. And niggas be like, yo, that shit's funky fresh. That shit's fresh. And I'd be like, yo, is this the 80s? Is this the early 90s? If it's not, that's cool. Because if y'all are saying it's fresh, then you are probably my kind of audience, ladies and gentlemen. You're probably my kind of audience. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm in my 30s. I'm 31, ladies and gentlemen. I'm in my 30s. You know who's not in their 30s, I think? Kyrie Irving. I believe Kyrie Irving is not in his 30s. Kyrie Irving is 29 years old. Not even in his 30s. I think we were looking at it. I was talking to a guy, like, his contract that they were going to extend him, it was probably going to be like some shit like $40 million a year. But it was just announced that Kyrie Irving will miss the entire NBA season unless he is vaccinated. Due to laws in the state of New York, in order to, well, if someone wanted to attend a game or go somewhere, to like Madison Square Garden, they would need to be vaccinated in the state of New York, and to perform there, allegedly, you would need to be vaccinated. Because my wife was saying how she's pretty sure Joe Rogan is vaccinated because he just had a show in Madison Square Garden. And you have to be vaccinated to perform in Madison Square Garden according to the law. But Joe Rogan just was talking a couple days ago about how he almost got vaccinated. And he was talking about all his friends he knew who got vaccinated and got sick afterwards. So he's talking as if he performed in New York at Madison Square Garden regardless, in spite of the fucking vaccination law, without being vaccinated, is what Joe Rogan is claiming. So because of this law that Joe Rogan is claiming he did not observe, the Brooklyn Nets have announced that they will not allow Kyrie Irving to play road games. He just can't play on the team until he's vaccinated, which I feel like is weird because the NBA has not placed a vaccine mandate, nor has the NBPA, the Players Association, has not put in a vaccine mandate. And you may say, well, what does that mean? He's just one player. Well, he is just one player, but it's not about just this one player. It should have never even got to here where it's about one player. It honestly, because there is no vaccine mandate, and New York had the laws the way they are, it never should have been something, in my opinion, you guys can feel how you feel, it never should have been a thing where they put it on the players to get vaccinated. The NBA then should have moved and said, well, then I guess the New York or the Brooklyn Nets and the New York fucking Nets or New York Knicks are going to go fucking play elsewhere. Their home games are going to be elsewhere in other NBA arenas until the laws there allow them to legally do this, because there's nothing that in the fucking CBA that allows them to do this. They're talking about how it's going to affect the CBA and how they argue, because they, it's all about giving the players power, more power, and if you're taking away possible income as it is from Kyrie, millions of dollars, as I'm saying, that they've said that they're not giving this extension, that they will not offer an extension to Kyrie Irving, which would have been $40 million a year, because of this vaccine situation, which it just doesn't go with what the NBA has, or I feel like can safely endorse or enforce, without causing crazy backlash when negotiations come, when that collective bargaining agreement comes up again. I think that's what they're afraid of. That's why they haven't said, the NBA hasn't come out and said everyone has to get vaccinated. But what they should have done was move teams temporarily until they could play legally there. They should have never put it. No, none of those teams, like Golden State and all that, none of those teams should have been able to put that on the players and said, like, nope, you can't join us. Like, no, the NBA should have been like, well, I guess y'all got to fucking play elsewhere. Because we can't be that intrusive. They're announcing, I think it's real fucking rude, honestly, that they're announcing, oh, this person got vaccinated today. Oh, now Andrew Wiggins vaccinated. He can join the team. Oh, Simmons just got vaccinated. They're announcing when these players get vaccinated. I think that's pretty weird. And I think it should have never been like a public thing that they're putting on all these players when the NBA can't enforce them to do so. They should have stepped up and moved the teams, but I guess that's not how it's going to work. That would have made sense. You know how we had no travel and they were like, the Raptors are going to play in Orlando? That. It's as easy as that. They could have done that, but they did not. You know how that happened and then they played in Oklahoma City? That. You know how New Orleans and then they played in Oklahoma City? That. They just be like, oh, they're going to play there from now. It's that quick to set it up. Oh, you can't play here? They're going to play in Seattle. They're going to play the season in Seattle if they can. I don't know if they can. But you know what I'm saying? It'd be that easy. It'd strum up the market. Oh, they'll play this season in Vegas. They're talking about putting a market in Vegas. Throw the Nets in Vegas right now. It's that easy. It's that easy. And you got Kyrie still. Everybody's happy. But no. You got Kyrie still. You put a real team in that market. You see, like, packed crowds. They want a team. They're real bad now. I think that's the way the NBA should have went, but I'm just crazy. I think it's just easier for them to just let the narrative go like, oh, that guy's vaccinated now. Like, let it stay on the players so they don't have to do this type of shit. Like, move these smart teams to new markets for the temporary time. But why not? If you're trying to expand and get more money in these other markets in Vegas and Seattle, potentially other places, like, why not potentially move or temporarily move those teams to those markets where they can play? You could put 2 teams in Vegas right now. How many arenas do you have in Vegas? Like the MGM Grand, T-Mobile Arena, if not more. Like, they could play lots of places there in Las Vegas, I believe. So I don't know. I feel like this could lead to another potential lockout, is the way I'm seeing it. Like, if they are taking away money from Kyrie because he's not doing something that they have not enforced, and Kyrie has come out and said the organization told him 2 weeks prior to that he wouldn't have to become vaccinated and it would always be up to him. And now they're just like, nope, he's not going to play this season until he gets vaccinated, or unless he gets vaccinated. And then they've also come out and said they've already decided they will not offer him an extension. Things have changed. Things have changed in the course of 2 weeks. Things have changed. I wonder why. I wonder what happened where they're just like, nah, we don't need this nigga. Maybe because they got James Harden. And they already had some shaky shit going on with the availability of Kyrie before this, I feel like. But it's like, to me, it always felt like good reasons. But now they got all the more reason to pull out. For whatever reason, they're going to pull out. Just, it's crazy enough, man. Crazy enough. You know, I feel like I've tried not to talk about the shenanigans of Conor McGregor. Like, I feel like a few weeks ago, after I finished an episode, I see on my phone, it pops up, Conor McGregor gets into scuffle with Machine Gun Kelly. Machine Gun Kelly's a pedophile, by the way. But gets into a scuffle with Machine Gun Kelly. And I was like, I don't need to talk about this. I don't think I talked about it. If I did, correct me. But I don't believe I spoke about that on this podcast. Because it's just like, I don't need to talk about these shenanigans. But then today, ladies and gentlemen, I heard yesterday that Conor McGregor's newborn son, he has a third child, was going to have his christening, was going to be baptized at the Vatican. Which I was like, dude, he's just stunting hard. And then today, it's like I get the notification, Conor McGregor punches DJ in Italy and breaks his nose 2 hours. I think it was like either 2 or 4, I think maybe 4 hours. Actually, it might have been 2 hours. I think like 2 hours after his son was baptized. No, it was 4 hours. Who knows? It was hours, just a matter of hours after his son was baptized. He punches a DJ in the nose, breaks his nose. They're saying, like, it's weird, man. The DJ and the person's wife, they're saying there's all these witnesses around when it happened. They're saying they were hanging out for 2 hours. I know that for a fact. And they were just hanging out, talking, like chilling, having a good time. And Conor invited the guy and his wife to another party. They're already at a party, and he was like, yo, there's another party. You guys want to come? And the DJ says, yes. Yeah, let's go. And Conor goes, okay, and punches this dude in the nose. And the dude, like, falls back, falls into the table. All this crazy commotion. I could be wrong, but I remember reading it as Conor's people had to hold Conor back because Conor was trying to come at the DJ and keep attacking him. And then, like, the wife was saying, like, she was trying to help her husband because he just got his nose broke for no reason. They're saying it was completely unprovoked. Like, Conor just turned around and punched this dude in the face, broke his nose. And so they're suing him. They're saying, like, people should just, like, be cautious about even just asking him for an autograph because he's dangerous. They're saying that punch could have been for anybody. Because there's apparently, according to these people, the DJ and this dude were hanging out for 2 hours having a good time. And he just breaks this dude's nose, man. And it's so much shit with Conor, I'd be like, yo, I don't need to talk about this. But there's so much shit that I feel like, I don't want to talk about it. Because I'm such a Conor fan, I'm trying not to, like, even throw that out there. But, like, I feel like at this point, man, this nigga's so crazy. The UFC would do them best if they just, like, cut ties with people like Conor and John Jones. Just, like, yeah, they were great. They're the biggest names here. Thank you for your service. Thank you for your service. But I think it's time to say enough is enough and just cut ties with them. Move on. The machine keeps moving. The machine keeps moving. Conor is ranked like number 6? Or I think he's ranked 9 in the lightweight division. Somebody pointed out, I think Rafael Faizi pointed out that Conor's ranked number 9. And he hasn't won since he beat Eddie Alvarez in, like, 2016. He hasn't won a fight in this division since 2016. And he's ranked 9 because he's Conor McGregor. Just cut ties with him, man. Thank you for your service. But at this point, like, just let him go. There's no way There's absolutely no way that John Jones or Conor McGregor, 100% on Conor McGregor, 80% on John Jones. I don't think either one would sign with a lesser promotion. You know what I'm saying? Do you see Conor fucking actually fighting for Bellator? Do you see that happening? He would never sign for one. Are you fucking kidding me? That would never happen. He's not going to go for what's seen as a lesser belt. Conor is not going to do that. So just let him go, man. He's only got one fight left on his contract anyway. You just let these people go, man, because I think it's too detrimental at this time for the sport. Just let them go. Cut ties. Thank you for your service. But it's time to move on. And at UFC 269, we've got Leon Edwards finally versus Jorge Masvidal, set for a 3-round fight. If you guys don't know about the past beef between these two, they fought. They did not fight technically. So on that night, it was a fight night. The headline was Jorge Masvidal versus Darren Till. Victor was Jorge Masvidal, who knocked out Darren Till. Leon Edwards that night fought Gunnar Nelson, and he defeated Gunnar Nelson, dominated Gunnar Nelson. And then afterwards, in the post-fight, while Jorge Masvidal was having an interview, I guess, like, Leon Edwards and his crew were walking by, and he was, Leon Edwards just started yelling stuff, like yelling at a date, like, what about this date? What about that date? And, Jorge was like, I don't know, maybe, we'll see. And then, Leon says, yeah, whatever, pussy. And Jorge was like, all right, man, say it to my face. And he just, like, walks up to him with his hands behind his back. As we all know now is a sign of trouble. When Masvidal walks up with his hands behind his back, that's a sign of trouble. All right? It's a red herring. It's about to be some hands or some knees. Something's coming. So he walks up with his hands behind his back. And as soon as he gets close enough to Leon is just, like, talking shit in his face. And I think he puts his hands up, but just, like, as you know, it wasn't like he was really about to fight him. He just put his hands up in, like, a taunting way. And Jorge just hit him with a 2-piece in a soda or a 3-piece in a soda. I think it's 3-piece in a soda. Hit him with the 3-piece in a soda. And then for years, they've just not booked this fight. I think 2 years ago this happened. And they've just not booked this fight. And now, ladies and gentlemen, with Leon ranked number 3 and Masvidal ranked number 6, Masvidal takes this fight. Apparently, Edwards wanted it to be 5 rounds and Masvidal wants it to be 3. He was only willing to take a 3-round fight. Edwards says he's fine with that. He says with 3 rounds, then he feels like... I'm like, why do I feel like I'm, like, real hype? It's because I pounded a fucking pumpkin spice latte, like, right before this. Edwards said he's happy it's 3 rounds because, like, in a 3-round fight, he's been fighting all 5-round fights. You know what I'm saying? But with a 3-round fight, he feels like he can come out full steam from round 1. And I'm thinking Masvidal is probably going to come out here with the same mindset. It's probably why he wants it to be a 3-round fight as opposed to a scheduled 5-round fight. Because you don't want to come out here fighting like 3 rounds, you know, with 3-round cardio and you don't get this person out of there. And here comes round 4. You don't want that to happen. So it's 3 rounds. They're saying they're going to come. Leon saying he's coming full steam. Masvidal only wanted it to be 3 rounds, so I'm thinking he's coming full steam. And, you know, obviously, I'm going with Leon Edwards to dominate in this fight and possibly finish Jorge Masvidal. Masvidal is too focused on his pro wrestling career at this point. He's trying to wrestle Chris Jericho. He's going for that AEW championship. as you guys know, I always felt like Masvidal was pretty overrated. I didn't think he was going to beat Darren Till. But Darren Till was honestly, his striking was kind of one-dimensional. It was kind of one-dimensional in that fight. He's gotten better since. He's still got like that same things that he's going for, but he's kind of one-dimensional. And against a better striker like Masvidal, it just wasn't good enough for what he was trying to do. But Masvidal, I think he's only got like 2 fights left in him. He's going to lose this fight to Leon Edwards. And then if he's lucky, he's going to get a rematch with Nate Diaz, 5 rounds, and Nate Diaz is going to win that rematch. And then that's it for Jorge Masvidal. That's it for him. Then he's going to get released. He's got his bare-knuckle promotion. He'll just do that, focus on that. I think he's only got 2 fights left on his in the UFC. I think that's it for Jorge Masvidal. You know, ladies and gentlemen, I just had a little bit of a scare there. My fucking ring light fucking fell over and knocked over my external hard drive. And then my external hard drive started making weird noises. And so I had to, like, just pause and restart everything and just, like, save this to like, the desktop. And just, like, try to make sure everything's... Because everything, like, kind of disappeared for a second. And it's like, no way. It was like everything was about to be gone. Music, like, all the beats, everything would be gone. I think. I mean, no, I got, like... I would have, like, the MP3s and, like, I got WAV files, but I wouldn't have, like, the tracks. I would still have, like, all the beats that I downloaded from Splice, like, on record there on Splice that I've downloaded them. They're all there. Everything that I've downloaded, everything I paid for. So that's all there, you know. I could remake it, but that would be annoying. That's just it. It would be annoying. I was scared that it was all gone, ladies and gentlemen. If you're watching the video, I was always planning to put out a full video, but we'll see. When I tried to do it the first time I recorded with this camera, it just wouldn't. It kept saying error every time I tried to upload the full video of the episode. I had full episode ready to go, and it was like, nope, error. But if you are seeing the video, then you would see that the lighting is different, because when that just happened, I was like, well, that's the end of that ring light. At least for now, unless I change this setup and where I would place that ring light, for now, that shit is done. Because this is my baby. All right? In fact, let me move that a little more inward. I'm trying to think. I don't think I used to always have it over there. I think I moved it there. Yeah, I think I moved it there. Or maybe I never used to use this ring light. I didn't have the video set up. So it was never an issue. UFC Vegas 40 just happened. Ladd versus Dumont. Dumont won. Not much to talk about. People just felt like they needed to talk about the coach. I feel like there was no issue with the coach at all. Ladd started to fight better as the fight, maybe in the rounds 3 and 4. I mean, rounds 4 and 5, she started to fight better, but yeah, it was a little too late. A little too late. So UFC Vegas 41, which I'm surprised we're here. When this fight was announced, I was like, someone will pull out of this fight. I was like, there's no way this fight is going to happen, but here we are. I thought that someone was going to be Paulo Costa, but he actually is here, and it seems that way. We're going to have Paulo Costa versus Marvin Vettori. 5 rounds. When it was first announced, I was like, whoa, this fight's crazy. I don't know where this is going to go. I don't know what's going to happen. That's how I felt. You know? That's how I felt. I was like, I don't know what's gonna happen in this fight. But then when I looked into it last week. I had some. So it's slow season at work, and I was looking at this fight, and when I look at their resumes, I look at the two fighters' resume, and honestly, I would think, for me personally, maybe you could look at it differently, but I think for me personally, I think Marvin Vettori has the much better resume. He has the much better body of work. I think he looks better in his losses. I think the only loss for Paulo is Adesanya, where he was finished, and he was very one-sided. He was dominated in that fight. Very one-sided. Vettori has just faced better competition, and Paulo's biggest claim to fame, his biggest win, is against a declining Yoel Romero. That I saw that fight live, and he got booed when he won that fight because everybody in the arena thought Yoel won that fight. I was there in Anaheim. And then I rewatched the fight again sober, and I scored the fight again for Yoel Romero. So that was the declining Yoel, but that was the hype. Like he just kept coming at Yoel, but Yoel was countering him and like picking him off at the later stages of that fight. Yoel was putting it on him at the later stages of that fight. I scored that fight for Yoel. I think that's why it was a little more warranted. I had no objection when they booked Yoel versus Israel Adesanya, because I felt like Yoel had gotten some unfair shakes from the judges. I felt like had some judges seen it the way a lot of fans, a lot of people like Dana White had seen it, had felt like it should have gone, he would have been there fighting for the belt, or he probably would have been the champion already. You know what I'm saying? So I had no objections with that. And when you look at the bodies of work, man, I just think that, but I think this fight's going to be pretty one-sided. I think it's not going to be too entertaining. I think it's not going to be too aesthetically pleasing to a casual. For me, I think it's going to be like a grapple-heavy. Like, let's say that they start to strike, and let's say first chance that Paulo is able to get some kind of offensive off, Vettori's going to take him down in the first round. If Paulo is able to get off anything with his strikes in the first round, Vettori is going to immediately take him down, and then that will be his game plan for the rest of the fight, to take him down, and I believe he will be successful. And I believe he will be able to control Paulo Costa. I think he's just going to be better than Paulo. I think they tried to, like, when Paulo first came out, they tried to say he was a jiu-jitsu guy. I think that was a red herring. All right? I think it was a red herring. He was talking shit about Israel's jiu-jitsu. I think it was a red herring. I think Vettori should have no fucking worries in testing that ground game. Test that man's guard. See what that man has for you off of his back. Test that man. I think it's a red herring. I think Vettori's going to go in there and dominate Paulo Costa. Paulo Costa to me is very overrated. He's just a hype machine. As so many people are. There's a lot of hype machines in all combat sports. Most of the fighters you know about are hype machines. Sean O'Malley, hype machine. You say, oh, I don't think he's a hype machine. I think he could be. But the thing is, he is a hype machine. You can't argue it because he hasn't faced that top-tier talent. People who aren't hype machines are people who you say, yeah, that guy's dope as fuck. And he beat this guy, he beat that guy, he beat that guy. And you're like, oh, shit. Yeah, he is a badass. I think he could beat that guy. Or if maybe one day he fights that guy, I think he could beat that guy. Who's Sean O'Malley known for fighting? Chito Vera. Okay. That nigga's not top 10. He's not top 10 talent. He beat Chito Vera. Name right now 5 other people that Sean O'Malley's fought. I don't know, it's like Eddie Winland, Quinones, and that dude with the hair, Chris Munoz. So that's 3 for me. Outside of Chito. I mean, Chito, that's 4. I don't know if I can name anybody else that he's fought. Because he's not fought any top-tier talent. Has he fought Jose? He's about to fight somebody. I think the guy he's about to fight is about to be a real good fucking real good challenge for him. It's about to be his biggest fight. His toughest challenge yet. Oh, Ruli and Paiva. He's fighting Ruli and Paiva. That's going to be a fucking... And Paiva pledges to submit Wimp O'Malley. Says he's going to submit O'Malley. I think it could happen. We haven't really seen O'Malley. He's a hype train. And I think Paulo Costa is right there, hype train. Yeah, we haven't really seen him against a lot of fucking top-tier competition. But we saw him win a fight by the judges' scorecard against Yoel Romero. And then when he fought a top-tier, in his prime, Israel Adesanya, he got embarrassed. Came out and said, I was drunk. I drank a lot of wine before that fight because I couldn't go to sleep. So I drank like 2 bottles of wine. And I was drunk in the fight. Get the fuck out of here. He got his ass beat in there. So that's the top tier talent test that we've seen Polo in, is that he got his fucking ass beat. Not the fight against Yoel, where he was declined battle damage, battle worn, and people had said he lost that fight to Yoel. That's not even the test. The test is Israel. And you're going to say, well, a lot of people look bad against Israel. Everybody looks bad against Israel. Yeah, but he looked bad against Israel. Yeah, everybody looks bad against Israel. But he looked terrible against Israel. So, and you say, what does that mean? It's like, that's the only elite competition he's faced. And who looked better against Israel? Twice. I'd say in both fights, he wasn't finished by Israel, Marvin Vettori. He wasn't finished in 2 fights. He's gone 8 rounds with Israel Adesanya. He wasn't finished. Paulo Costa was finished. That's the only elite competition we've seen him face. And he didn't look like he passed the test. So I think he's going to go in there and get dominated by Marvin Vettori. Another fight I'm interested in, I was going to say only other fight, but that's definitely not the case. But the fight I'm interested in is Jessica Rose Clark versus Jocelyn Edwards. Now, Jocelyn Edwards, to me, was like a black or brown, if you will, Joanna Jędrzejczyk with jiu-jitsu. But didn't look too impressive in her second fight. So here begs the question, like, is she a true prospect here? Or did she just have the perfect opponent for her in her debut? Did she have the perfect opponent for her to showcase all of her talents in her debut? Who's to say if she fought Carol Rosa, who she fought in her second fight, if she fought Carol Rosa in her first fight, maybe it would have looked like her second fight, and no one would have thought, oh shit, here's Joanna Jędrzejczyk with some jiu-jitsu. There would have never been that hype. You know what I'm saying? So I'm curious. Jessica Rose Clark, I think, will win this fight. I think she's got her pressure. I think the pressure that she's going to put on Edwards is just going to be too much for her. I mean, Edwards, like, please prove me wrong if you can. But I think the pressure is just going to be way too much for Edwards. I think Jessica Rose Clark is going to win this fight. I think by stoppage, actually. Not possibly, but I'm going to go with Jessica Rose Clark by stoppage. But feel free to prove me wrong, Jocelyn Edwards. And feel free to follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Babylon5Pod. You can follow me in my personal account at My Name's Jermaine. You can email this podcast at Babylon5podcast@gmail.com. You can follow this podcast at Babylon5.podbean. You can listen to this podcast on Podbean, Stitcher, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, YouTube, pretty much anywhere podcast stream. And if you guys are on Xbox, go ahead and add me at SauceBoss414. You guys can add me on Twitch at twitch.tv/Babylon5. Go ahead and cop some merchandise at teespring.com/store/BOFpod-shop. And go ahead and be my patrons. Go to patreon.com/Babylon5pod. And why not join my Discord? And I'll figure it out one of these days. I'll figure out how to work it. Join my Discord at Babylon5pod. This has been episode 113, Synesthesia. Thank you, Andrew McMahon, for a great fucking concert. Thank you to my wife for having great taste in music. And men, obviously. But as I've said, and I'll say here, I hope you guys are taking care of yourselves and each other. And I'll see you when I see you. I'll holla.
Chant down Babylon kingdom, team make we chant down Vatican now. Bang the ling bling, chant down Babylon kingdom, team make we chant down Vatican now. Chant down Babylon kingdom, team make we chant down